Welcome back to the Soft Spirit Stories channel. Today, we will together turn back the stream of history, step into an era full of meaning and challenges to explore the life and message of the prophet Malachi, the one considered the last messenger of the Old Testament. Imagine an era when the sacred voice of God seemingly had been silent for 4 centuries, leaving his people in a state of desolation, waiting and wondering about the life or death significance of faith. That era, following the messages of Malachi, witnessed a decline in faith and a loss of direction in the soul of a nation. But precisely in that dark circumstance, his message was like beams of hope, guiding people back to a sincere relationship with the Almighty. Even though more than 2,400 years have passed, the prophecy of Malachi still echoes forever, like a solid bridge connecting the past with the future, paving the way for the appearance of the Savior. Jesus Christ has promised in the pages of the Bible and affirmed through the sacred evidences in the heavenly scriptures. Let us together turn back to about 430 BC, when the people of Israel had just returned after the exile in Babylon, but their spirit had gradually faded amid the difficulties of rebuilding their lives and reconstructing the temple. The once burning faith had now been dimmed by empty ritual habits, by ceremonies that were merely formal and lacked the sincerity of the heart. In that context, God chose Malachi, whose name literally means my messenger in Hebrew, to convey words of warning in order to remind his people of his undying love and the invitation to return to the Creator. Malachi did not merely issue rebukes for the deviations in the way sacrifices were offered and the moral decay of the priests, but also called on each person to return to the sacred roots, to live truly with faith and sincerity. In his book bearing his name, Malachi sharply criticized the faults of the people of Israel as they seemed to offer sacrifices arbitrarily, lacking the necessary reverence and heartfelt dedication. He argued that true worship is not merely external actions, but must stem from a heart that knows love and loyalty. Words such as, "I have loved you," Malachi 1 verse 2, and "I do not change," Malachi 3 verse 6, depicted an image of the Almighty whose love and sincerity remain intact, even though people might temporarily forget that in moments of despair. Through this, Malachi's message was not only intended for reprimand, but also to open up an opportunity for the people to be spiritually reborn, to be reminded that no matter how many times they err, the path back to God is always open. The social context in the time of Malachi can be likened to a gloomy picture, where spiritual values were gradually eroded under the pressure of degenerate habits and broken family relationships. The priests, who were entrusted with the duty of maintaining the connection between people and God, became corrupt, no longer serving as a shining example of faith, but instead engaging in soulless ritual acts. That decline was also manifested through social phenomena such as divorce, where marriage, originally a symbol of a sacred and enduring relationship, gradually became trivial and easily breakable. It is precisely in that circumstance that Malachi rose up like a wake-up call, reminding that true faith does not lie solely in external rituals, but must be imbued in every action and relationship of people. That warning, illustrated through sacred images and evidences in the heavenly scriptures, still brings us a valuable lesson about living truly with love and loyalty. Malachi's message also contained promises of restoration and abundant blessings from God to his people. One of the outstanding promises is the invitation, "Try it out," in Malachi 3 verse 10, where the Almighty promises that if the people return with sincerity, he will open the windows of heaven to pour out blessings to the extent that there will be no room to contain them. This promise is not merely a material compensation, but also a message of comprehensive restoration, from the soul to the spirit, from the individual to the community. Through this, we see that although people might forget the core values of faith, the love and blessings of God are always waiting, always ready to help us overcome all difficulties and challenges. The connection between Malachi's prophecy and the New Testament becomes even more evident when we realize that he paved the way for the appearance of important figures, such as John the Baptist, who is regarded as the true messenger, the one who inaugurated the coming of Jesus Christ. Through quotations in the Gospels, especially in the book of Matthew, we clearly see that the promise of a messenger would be fulfilled in the person of John the Baptist, who came to prepare the way for the Savior. This connection affirms that Malachi's message is not only a warning of a past era, but also a living prophecy that opens a new chapter in God's salvation plan for humanity. Such sacred connections, recorded through heavenly scriptures and depicted through powerful symbols, have helped Malachi's message transcend the limits of time, becoming a guiding beacon for all believers in every era. Not only stopping at criticizing religious transgressions, Malachi also conveyed a message about the responsibility of each person in preserving and promoting the true values of faith. According to his words, not only the priests or religious leaders have this duty, but each individual, regardless of status or circumstance, can and should become my messenger. This understanding is emphasized by the words of St. Peter in 1 Peter 2 verse 9, when he says that we are a chosen people, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, thereby honoring the value of each person in the eyes of the Almighty. Therefore, Malachi's message is not only a reminder to return to the sacred roots, but also a call for everyone to live a responsible life, to know how to love, and to be ready to convey faith to the surrounding community. In each of his prophecies, Malachi depicted an image of justice and the punishment of God upon the wicked, while at the same time promising to bestow blessings upon those who are faithful and live according to his word. The image of the Son of Righteousness, with wings that bring healing, as stated in Malachi 4 verse 2, is not only a sign of comprehensive restoration, but also a symbol of hope that surpasses all adversity. That promise, inscribed in the heavenly scriptures, reminds us that even though life may be full of mistakes and failures, forgiveness and restoration are always gifts from God for those who know how to return to Him. Through these powerful images, Malachi deeply ingrained the message that justice and mercy always go hand in hand, that anyone who wishes to be healed and live fully will always find the path leading to the sacred light. Furthermore, Malachi's message also extended to the realm of social life, as he spoke out against injustice, the oppression of the poor, the foreigner, and the vulnerable. That rebuke was not only of a critical nature, but also contained a profound humanitarian message, emphasizing that true faith must go hand in hand with action, with sharing and protecting the core human values. His teachings have become an endless source of inspiration, reminding each of us that in every circumstance, treating others fairly and kindly is the most vivid testimony of God's love. These values, although presented through the prophecies of a prophet from a bygone era, still have a strong impact, permeate every page of the heavenly scriptures, and serve as a guide for every modern life of faith. Looking back at the journey of the last prophet of the Old Testament, we cannot help but be amazed by the courage and steadfastness that Malachi displayed. Even knowing that his mission was to stand up amidst a people gradually sinking into superficial values and indifferent lifestyles, he did not hesitate to confront the faults, the bad habits, and the widespread injustices. It is precisely that perseverance that made his legacy great, a legacy that, even as time passes, is always remembered and inspires generations of believers. Every time we open the pages of the Bible and read those prophecies, it is as if we are hearing the call of a passionate soul, a reminder that no matter how many times people err, the opportunity to return to the Creator always exists and is ready to welcome us with all kindness. With the close connection between Malachi's prophecies and the signs depicted in the Gospels, we realize that the values of faith are not just dry religious rituals, but also a sacred connection between people and the Almighty and among each other. Jesus Christ, through his teachings and actions, fulfilled the promises that Malachi had made long ago, opening a new chapter in God's plan of salvation. That convergence is clearly demonstrated by the fact that John the Baptist, the prophet referred to as my messenger, played an important role in preparing the hearts of the people for the appearance of the Savior. Through this, we see a miraculous link between the Old Testament and the New Testament, between ancient prophecy and the fulfillment in the light of the gospel, evidence of a sacred plan that transcends all limits of time. From the evidences in the heavenly scriptures and the examples in the Bible, we increasingly realize that the message of Malachi is always a reminder to return to the roots of faith, to a life illuminated by the love of the Creator. Even though each person's life may sometimes be astray, mistakes may cause the soul to sink into darkness, the promise, "Return to me, and I will return to you," always remains a sacred source of encouragement, a lamp lighting the path leading to the light of life. This is precisely the timeless message of the last prophet of the Old Testament, a message that invites each person to live fully with faith, to return to the boundless love of God, so that each of us may contribute to creating a world full of hope, justice, and compassion. Through each prophecy, each powerful statement of Malachi, we feel a sacred call, an invitation to self-reflect, to return to the source of life and love. That is not only a lesson on how to live faith in the past, but also a guide for each of us in the modern journey, a journey in which each person can become a messenger of light, of love, and of restoration. No matter what the circumstances, even if life flows with the turbulent waves of change, Malachi's words still echo as a reminder that within every heart there always exists the capacity to mend, to renew, and to return to the sacred roots of life. Overall, the journey of exploring the life and message of Malachi is not only a look back at a distant past, but also an invitation toward the future, a future in which each of us is encouraged to live truly, to live responsibly, and to live with an unwaning faith. The values of loyalty, of love, and of restoration that Malachi diligently wove through each prophecy are always an endless source of inspiration for every soul longing for truth. Even though modern life may be busy, stressful, and sometimes obscure the spiritual values, the reminder from the last prophet of the Old Testament remains a shining example, an invitation for each person to find themselves again, to live true to the sacred values that God has bestowed. Finally, the message of Malachi, inscribed in the pages of the heavenly scriptures and spread through each prophecy, has become a command that transcends all boundaries of time and space. It reminds us that no matter if people falter, stray, or forget the core values of faith, the path back to the Almighty is always open, always welcoming with boundless kindness and love. And when each of us listens to that call, when each soul dares to open its heart to receive the light of restoration, then this world, no matter how many challenges, how many upheavals, will gradually appear in the colors of hope, of justice, and of true love. In this way, the journey of learning about Malachi and his sacred message has painted a comprehensive picture of the transformation of faith through the ages, of the close connection between the past, the present, and the future. It not only helps us understand more clearly the history of the people of Israel, the difficulties, challenges, and deviations in the old religious life, but also opens a door for us to reflect upon ourselves, about how we live, how we love, and how we face the challenges of life. In the light of those prophecies, each of us is invited to live fully with faith, to become messengers of love and restoration, contributing to creating a compassionate and hopeful world. And thus, the message of Malachi, though delivered through many centuries, remains ever alive, always a sacred reminder for every soul longing for truth and light. It opens up a new horizon where each person can find themselves, rediscover the inner strength to overcome all adversity, and move toward a life full of meaning. Through each word, through each sacred image depicted in the heavenly scriptures, we realize that restoration and renewal are not merely distant promises, but are always present in every moment of life, as long as we dare to open our hearts and live truly with our faith. Thus, the story of Malachi has transcended the bounds of time, becoming a sacred legacy that anyone, regardless of their circumstances, can find comfort, inspiration, and strength to live by the true values of loyalty, love, and restoration. And it is precisely in that message that we find the belief that, no matter when, however many challenges life may bring, the light of the Almighty always shines brightly, always ready to guide each person back to the sacred roots of life. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Please support us by liking, sharing, and inviting everyone to join our community by subscribing to the channel. See you in the next video. Thank you.